We're here today to pay our respects to X-Transbots Gravedigger, a figure that was taken from us far too soon, had so much promise and potential, and no, something about this just doesn't feel right. That's better. X-Transbots Gravedigger, what's new in the vault? Let's take a look, shall we? What's new
in the vault?
Earlier this week, X-Transbots MX-44 Gravedigger arrived into the vault from Omega Lock. You may have seen earlier on that I did do like a little bit of a PSA kind of, information short video about when you get Groundbite out of the box. Groundbite? Did I just say Groundbite? Sorry, Gravedigger. I've got the Constructicons on my mind at the moment. I think it's because they've got them up there. I've got Big Lord and Groundbite just waiting in the wings to come and join his brother when we get him out of the box. But yeah, so I did this video earlier in the week when Gravedigger first came, about when you get him out of the box and this panel at the back of the leg that you need to flip down before you start going about and bending the legs. But we'll get to that in a moment. What we're going to do is we're going to start on the box first and then take it from there. And here we are with the box, and to be fair, there's not really much I'm going to say about this because it's the usual X-Transbot style of box, which is, what you could say really for most third-party companies. They don't, they all have their unique style, and this is X-Transbots. We've got a nice piece of artwork on the front showing Groundbite. To the side, we've got his motto, which is upside down. So we'll turn it the right way, which is stop looking for happiness in the same place you lost it. Very profound. On the opposite side here, we've got, again, nice piece of artwork, and then looks like a kind of technical readout drawing there for it. And then on the back, then upside down again, we've got the back of box artwork that shows some of the previous releases that X-Transbots have done. It's a nice artwork. Oh, and sorry, yeah, and then we've got the tech specs there. Yeah, it's nice artwork, and does what it needs to do. But there's nothing really else I can say about it because they're all the same. Oh, I will say at the bottom, yeah, we've got a little picture there of Big Lord, and then up here, this side here, we've got a QR code. There are no instructions sent out with Gravedigger, so if you want instructions on what to do, transform and contents and this lot, it's the scanning the QR code. What I will do is I'll put this QR code up on the screen, so if you are in a position to scan it while you're watching this, then it will take you to where you need to be. So yeah, that's the box for Gravedigger. That's all I'm going to say about it. Let's move on to the accessories, shall we? Okay, so we get the box opened, and what we've got in the box then is a big chunk of polystyrene with the figure in, but we're not going to take a look at that at the moment. So let's a polystyrene kind of noise. Don't know if I'm not sure if I like that or not. But have we got no, we're cool with that. This is what we're going to focus on first. So straight off the top, we have a collector's card in a little bag there, and then on the back, it's got his technical readouts. With, yeah, they're just there, just in like a bar form, and then there's a bit of a write up there. I'm not going to read it because I ain't got my reading glasses on. But yeah, collector's card, there we go. Put that to one side. We then have a baggie with, let's open this up, a ceremonial trumpet, so you can have him blow his own trumpet at Starscream's coronation. Yeah, I heard about that, but I heard it was quite bad comedy. Oh, groan, the pun. And then what else we've got in the baggie is, yeah, it looks to be the back section. Sorry, let's hold it up where you can see it. It's no good up there, is it? Yeah, it looks to be the back section of Groundbite's head. Now, the only difference I can see with it is that it has a flip down panel there. I don't know, is the answer to the question you may be asking, which is, why? I don't know why that's included. I'll have to do a bit of research and look into that, but yeah, that's what that is. So that's what's in the baggie. And then in the clam, let's take that off, we have got a massive weapon. So this is obviously going to be Devastator's weapon. Let's have a look down the barrel. No, there's no light up features or buttons or anything like that. So it's just a big chunk of purple plastic, which he will hold in his hand and pew 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 pew, kind of like that. What else do we have? Right, we have an alternate head sculpt Gravedigger, which has more of a prominent mouth, sort of like section, if you will, on the mouth plate. You know, kind of like sticks out more than what the standard one does. So that's that. We have Gravedigger's gun. And there we go. Not bad, not bad. Well, I say it's more like a pistol, really, rather than a. Anyway, we have, which I'm assuming is going to be the shoulder attachment for when it's in combined mode. You know, when it's in in Devastator mode. That's that there, and then we have side an arm. I don't know if you can hear that. There's some nice ratchets going off there. Rotation there, ratchet. And then nothing on the hand. There we go. The fingers splay out like that. Oh, bends right up as well. And down. And then, yeah, all the fingers are articulated on the digits, and then the thumb is as well. Oh yeah, that's nice. I like that, and it also gives you kind of an indication of you know, how big this thing's going to be once it's all done and combined. Right, I think if I remember rightly as well. Yep, we have a compartment there, which I assume is going to hold a gun, but it's not going to be that. Well, it's going to hold something, but what it's going to hold, I don't know. It's not. Is it going to hold that? Does it hold his gun? Let's have a look. That was in there, and then yeah, it does. It holds Gravedigger's gun. There we go, like that. That's handy. Yeah, handy. But why you'd need to store Gravedigger's gun in his arm when he's in Devastator mode, I'm not sure. But it's a nice little touch, I suppose. You know. Yeah, the arm. That's it for accessories, I'm afraid. Shall we get onto the robot himself, Gravedigger? I think we should. Here we have that block of polystyrene again. Shall we lift the lid off and let's get him out, shall we? There we go. Just pop him there a moment. We'll get rid of the polystyrene. Yeah, let me just alter the camera angle. That's better. We can see him more clearly and from top to toe as well. Yeah, what a nice looking robot mode that is. I'm loving the greens and the purples with it. I'm rotating this round here like you're not going to see it on the turntable in the bottom corner of the screen. I'll show you that thing that I did on the brief video that I did earlier in the week, that in case you didn't see it. But on the back of his legs, when you first get him out of the box, there's panels here on either leg. So when you have to get those panels and bend them down like that. That then frees you up then to be able to, let's just tab that back in. Yeah, so that just allows you to then be able to bend the legs like so. Right, okay, so Gravedigger, robot mode, what we're going to say about him. Yeah, as I've said, I'm loving the greens and the purples together, they look really nice. I'm loving this big, huge chrome section. I'm not sure if it is die-cast. Can't really tell. It doesn't have that cold feel that die-cast does. But maybe when I come round to transform him, whether it has any moving parts or anything like that, I'm able to tell better. But yeah, it's really nice, really stands out. I've already got him faction logoed up. It's got a Decepticon symbol on there. I'm going to wait and see, because this may be in the wrong... Well, it's in the right place for the, you know, his likeness in the cartoon, etc. and the G1 toy. But if I get this closer, you might be able to see here, there's like a little recess where it looks like a tab may go in. And there was one on this side as well, but this insignia goes over that. So I'm just bearing in mind that when I transform him, something may tab into there, which then will destroy this insignia. I'll have to reconsider about putting it in it somewhere else. I mean, I can put it on the chrome part here. I think on some photos and pictures I've seen, he does have his Decepticon insignia on there as well. So, you know, all isn't lost. But yeah, nice chromey area. I'm going to have a hazard a guess here that the die-cast parts. So we've got die-cast here at the tops of the shoulders. Wait for the camera to kind of get in. Is it going to get in focus there? So we've got die-cast here. We have die-cast in the central portions of the elbows where they're double jointed. That's die-cast there. We have die-cast in the feet. We have die-cast somewhere else. Where else did I feel the die-cast on it? Somewhere else. Oh, there's die-cast on the pistons for the excavating arm. So the bottom one there, and then the mid one here, and then these two at either side here. There was somewhere else that I suspected that there was die-cast. Not to worry, we'll get to it. Again, I'll probably find it on the transformation. Articulation wise, I'd say his articulation is as good as the other releases, so Big Load and Ground Bite. You know, you've got movement and rotations in the shoulders and things like that, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees that get you like back there. You've got ankle tilt, which does this really weird thing where, you know, your foot ends up looking like that. But sometimes when you go to tilt the ankle, it kind of like comes out of the peg bit there and it swings around on the hinge. So that's something that you may have to watch out for. It's a shame it doesn't tab in a little bit tighter or snap in, but not to worry, it's not a massive deal breaker. You've got flaps here at the front on the waist area, and you allow the legs to bend up, and they're on ratchets at the legs, so you'll be able to hear them. They also pull out to the side. They'll go back somewhat, but they're stopped by this section here. There is a thigh swivel on either side, and then the toes, you know, the feet tilt forwards and backwards. There's also, just sorry, going back to the arms briefly, there is also a bicep swivel there. Hands, I don't like X-Transbot hands, I'm afraid. Sorry about that, but I just don't. They always seem, yeah, I just don't like them. They just seem so fragile. The X-Transbots have improved so much recently with their figures, you know, Commander Stack, and then the other two Constructicons that, you know, I'll bring in side by side in a moment, and you know, and the Omnibots and the Battle Chargers. But the hands, I still don't like the hands. They have this thing where they're held on by a single screw in a little kind of like a washer thing there. You know, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if the camera's going to zoom in. If not, there'll be photos. Don't worry about that. But it's literally, and it just seems so flimsy. It's the only part now with X-Transbots that I am wary about all the other things with X-Transbots, I'm chill with it now, but those I'm still a bit wary about. The index finger is individually articulated, but then the other fingers aren't. They're all fused together, and then the thumb just goes sort of like swivels up and down, and then it's got like individual joints on that as well. That's the hands. Waist wise, it'll swivel, but it doesn't. Right, there you go. It goes to about there. It will go further, but you've got to move the legs out and kind of like the excavation arm, and it will go around. You know, it will go around all the way, but it does catch somewhat. And then you have an ab crunch. There we go. An ab crunch there. So you could, if you wanted to, him sat down like that. He'd be sat on his bucket, because you'd have to move that a bit out of the way. That's the robot mode. Plastic quality is great. I've no issues there with that. And the colour of the plastic, again, it's got this like metallic-y sheen to it, which I really do like. Painted aspects, elements on it. No, I don't think there is, to be fair, other than the die cast. The die cast in the arms here and the feet is painted, obviously. The mouth plate is painted silver, and then we've got that gorgeous red chrome of the eyes, you know, the visor. That's gorgeous. That is really nice. And then you've got translucent purple windows on the excavator cab there. Right, the accessories that come with him. Let's get the I've got the gun already down here. Let's get the trumpet. So let's get his gun in his hand, and it's just the usual side peg that slots in, and then pull his fingers around there like that, and that's his gun in his hand, like so. And then, oh, sorry, I didn't mention that as well. There's a very, very slight butterfly joint on the shoulders there, but not much. Right, let's get that gun out of his hand, and then let's get his trumpet. There we go. There it is. Trumpet in hand. Now, can I angle that round so it'll... Yep, we can. There we go. Da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. I have a feeling that someone's going to disrupt this coronation, don't you? Right, and that's it. Yeah, so it's short, it's sweet, but you can see here, and you'll see from the photos and the turntable, you know, other details of this figure. But yeah, it's a great solid figure in robot mode. Again, like I said, no issues with it. I'm not wary. The only thing I'm wary about is the hand. So let's just grab his brethren and bring those in here at the side of him. There we go. So as you can see, they're all pretty much, give or take, same height wise. Out of the three, it looks like Gravedigger is the shortest. Big Load looks to be the tallest, and then you've got Ground Bite here. But there's not much in it. I would say, there's just very, very slight differences in height, but they're all pretty much thereabouts, which is good, because then when you get it, I think you'll have more even proportions then on the figures, you know, when they're transformed and combined into Devastator. But I think them three look great together. They're really nice. I was hesitant at first going down the route of X-Transbots for Devastator, but now 3 bots in, no, I've no worries or issues about that now. Well, I say that, the only thing that I am still slightly apprehensive about is when it comes to combine them and get them into Devastator, and how they're all gonna, you know, hold together. You know, hopefully they'll hold together well, because so far they all do have die cast in them. The most die cast is on ground bite, he's really, really heavy compared to the other two. These two, yeah, this is the, yeah, Gravedigger's the lightest out of the three. Ground bite's the heaviest. Big Load's next, and then we've got Gravedigger, which kind of makes sense really, because you've got ground bite. He's going to be one of the feet. Big Load is going to be the lower waist section, and then Gravedigger is going to be the right arm. Yeah, the right arm. So you need less weight going further up, or else it's just going to be top heavy and topple over. So yeah. Right, okay then, enough waffling about that. Let's get him transformed and take a look at the vehicle mode. And after that brief transformation off screen, actually no, it wasn't a brief transformation. It did take a bit of fiddling about with to get him in this mode. It's not the usual X-Transbots pain in the backside. It's better than that, but it's still a bit of a, there's still a few areas where you have to maybe slightly bend things just to move them around other parts and that, but it's not horrific. But anyway, so yeah, he's in his excavator mode, and I do like it. I do like the look of it, but just at a cursory glance, it does kind of look like just a green blob on two purple sticks. There's not a lot of detailing on it. We have some steps here, you know, to make it look, sorry, yeah, make it look like steps to get into the cab. The cab door does open like that, and it does have a bit of a moulded seat in there, but nothing big enough to fit a figure in. There is some what looks like air vents on the side here. You've got the tracks moulded, you know, moulded tracks, and they've got some like wheel detailing and things like that on the side of the tracks. You've also got some recessed detailing on the arm here, and that's probably about it for the detailing on it. It has some wheels underneath which does allow it to roll backwards and forwards. However, the top section doesn't rotate, it is fixed and fused. The digger arm does move all the way back like that, and then it extends all the way out like that. The mid section will go backwards and forwards like that, and then you've got the bucket which then tilts up and then tilts back out like that. So, you know, there's not a great deal of play features in the vehicle mode for it, but it displays nice, it looks nice, and I can see it looking well with the other Constructicons in vehicle mode, you know, when they do eventually end up coming. What I'm going to do is now, because there isn't really a lot to go through with this particular mode, I'm going to get him into his arm mode for when he's combined and in your for Devastator. So I'll get the arm and the shoulder attachment, get them hooked on, and then we'll take a look at that. Okay, so now I've got him in arm mode, the right arm of Devastator, and there he is. That is impressive looking. I like that. I really do like that. This is yeah, this is boding well, I think, for when it's completed and it's all built up. I mean, it's quite, you know, it's quite heavy. It's a chunky thing. There's a double joint, like I mentioned, on the arm part. That's where it's going to attach to the main body, and there's not much difference really from vehicle mode getting it into, you know, the top of the arm mode. It's literally just, there's a couple of panels on the inside here that you have to just rotate around and move, and then we just fold back the bucket arm thing, and then it's there. And then this clamp, which is pretty much all it is really, just slides in between the tracks and clips in, also clips in at the top there, and it's done. So just to give you an idea, I've got a ruler here of scale. So from fingertip to end here, it's roughly about 13-inch. So that kind of gives you some indication of what this is going to be like when it's combined. It's going to be a bit of a beast, really, I think, when it's done. So I'll get the gun. I've got the gun here. I'll get that in his hand. Again, same kind of thing. It's just a tab that slots in. Bend the fingers around of his finger. There's it, like pulling a trigger. And there we go. That's his arm mode. Yeah, I'm liking that. I am liking that. This is, yeah. Yeah. It's giving me a good sense for what's coming down the line. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's an arm. What else am I going to say about it? Let's get it back into robot mode, and then we'll go over some final thoughts and wrap this up. Okay, so now we've got him back in his robot mode. We're going to wrap this up, and I'll just give you a few final thoughts, as I mentioned. I like it. X-Transbots are really, really, really up in their game when it comes to the content that they're putting out, and this one's no exception. You know, they're on this high at the moment, I think, and if they keep it this way, they're just going to keep getting better and better. The transformation sequence back into robot from the vehicle was great. You know, I didn't encounter any of the problems that I did when I was putting him into vehicle mode, so I think that's probably more down to me than the actual figure itself. While I was transforming it, I did find out and I did realise, yes, this big section here is die cast as well, so that's another big bonus. Downside was, as I suspected, the Decepticon insignia here has been damaged because stuff does tab into that section there, so I'm going to have to relocate that onto the chest section here. At no point during the transformation did I feel like anything was going to break, you know, which is a welcome feeling when it comes to X-Transbots, you know, of the past. But yeah, I'm very, very impressed with this. Accessories wise, yeah, they're great as well. I think the gun could have done with a light up feature just because of its size and just give it that little bit more of a premium feel. The arm and this attachment both feel solid. There doesn't feel to be any weaknesses there, and I think they're going to hold up once we get him into, you know, into Devastator. The alternate head is a nice little touch. I don't think it really brings much more to the party than what the one that's already on there does. And then that thing there, yeah, I'm going to have to find out what that is. I suspect it's for ground bite, but you know, I could be wrong. But you know, we'll have to wait and see. And then, you know, the collector's card, yeah, it is what it is. I do think that it's a shame that they've not included any instructions, and they've gone to this whole online thing now where you scan the QR code to get the instructions. Maybe that's the future. Maybe I'm just old and I'm getting out of touch with stuff, but I would still prefer a booklet, you know, that you can thumb through and look at the stages. It also just gives it a bit more of that premium feel as well. So yeah, that's it. To summarise, nice sturdy accessories, great quality figure with good articulation, good materials, and yeah, 3 down, another 3 to go. And as of time of recording this brief review, it was announced that Razor will be coming out in August. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one when I get it. And that's it, we're all done. Yeah, nothing more to say. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now. What's new?
In the vault.